YouTube booming. I gotta go to work, so let me just get this shit started. Hit that. That's gonna be offline. Save your recording as a draft. Bang bang. So for sure. If I'm yep. Think we ready to launch. YouTube up. Start that. And then there was bass. Good evening, motherfuckers and motherfuckers. This is your host, Yung Dolemite, of the Too Much Game podcast, live from the Boom Boom Room. Once again, motherfucking using natural light for this one. Usually I'll be having it like real dark in this motherfucker with my little lights on and shit. Keep the light real low, setting the mood. Today, a motherfucker needs some sunshine up in this bitch, man. We done had a long fucking week. A lot of losses out this motherfucker. You know, go ahead and start out by saying, rest in peace to the legendary Chadwick Boseman. Shit been hitting hard like a motherfucker, man. Like, god damn. This been a cold week. You know, they say death comes in threes, and, you know, we lost John Thompson and, you know, the ambassador of the headband, Cliff Robinson. You know, it's this shit been heavy. Like, I don't even think I told my son about Chadwick Boseman. The cold thing is, you know, like, a lot of black boys got a superhero with the whole Black Panther thing, and, you know, just Chadwick Boseman as a person, as a man, like, phenomenal actor. Like, he been doing this shit. He, in the short amount of time that we've been aware of him, he been putting in work. And to find out that a lot of the time that he been doing a lot of this shit, he had colon cancer. Man, big salute to that dude, man. Like, that shit is fucking amazing. You know, cause, you know, just living in general with cancer. You know, I just lost a homegirl to breast cancer. Shit, my mom got breast cancer. You know, just living with that shit is a cold thing in general. And for this motherfucker to be making movies with that shit, like, you know, going to chemo and therapy and, you know, all that old shit, having surgeries and all that shit while having cancer, he a cold motherfucker, man. Like, you know, moment of silence to Chadwick Boseman. Like, man, dude, like, you know, shout out to him, shout out to his family. You know, his first big role was Jackie Robinson, and he passed away on Jackie Robinson Day. That was like a cold little situation, man. He played James Brown, Thurgood Marshall. Like, damn, dude, like the legends that he brought to life just as a man. You know, for us to lose him at 43, man, you know, fucked up shit. You know, rest in peace to Cliff Robinson, the OG stretch four. You know, I'm not going to spend as much time, but, you know, shout out to Cliff Robinson, man. Like, you know, a lot of us who was, you know, born in the 80s, raised in the 90s, a lot of us know about Cliff Robinson. You know, one of his main things as far as, like, where a lot of motherfuckers are known from is the Michael Jordan Shrug video and shit. You know, he was a nigga with the red headband in the background, but Cliff Robinson was a cold man. He was a motherfucking all-star. Like, you know, Cliff Robinson, the one thing I always remembered about Cliff Robinson was in, like, NBA Live 95 and Bulls versus Blazers and all the video games we used to play as a kid. He was always the nigga with the headband. Like, you know, he was one of the ambassadors of wearing the headband in the NBA. So, you know, shout out to him. And, of course, the legendary Coach John Thompson. You know, without John Thompson, we might not know who Allen Iverson is. Like, Allen Iverson might have been like a, you know, like a urban legend a myth that a lot of motherfuckers didn't know about. He'd have been like a Virginia, you know, he would have been like what Shea Cotton is to us in California. You know, like Allen Iverson was a great, phenomenal athlete. But without John Thompson helping him get out of jail, mentoring him on and off the court, like we might not know who Allen Iverson is. You know, so shout out to Coach John Thompson. Like John Thompson made Georgetown fly. Like I remember when I was little, I used to walk around with Georgetown shorts because, you know, like, you know, with him being the first black coach to win a college basketball title, you know, he made Georgetown the fly shit. Like, you know, they had a dope logo already. You know, that blue and gray. Everybody who know me personally know why I like that blue and gray. But, you know, he made Georgetown fashionable. Like, you know, he put Patrick Ewing on. I think Alonzo Mourning went to Georgetown. Dikembe Mutombo. Like, you know, John Thompson, he had a hell of a fucking impact on college basketball and basketball in general. So, you know, rest in peace to the legendary coach John Thompson. You know, happy belated birthday to Michael Jackson. Everybody know, you know, I'm a big fan of Michael Jackson. I fuck with Michael Jackson heavy. You know, happy birthday to the king of pop. And, you know, happy birthday to Joe Budden, of all people. Big shout out to Joe Budden. I don't know if a lot of y'all heard the last couple episodes of the Joe Budden podcast. Well, not the last one that just came out on Wednesday, but the last Saturday episode and the Wednesday before that Saturday. Like, if you a black podcaster, nigga, that shit is biblical. Like that shit should be mandatory listening for every black podcaster. Really every podcaster in general, but nigga, y'all know me, I'm only talking to the black ones. You know, so shout out to Joe Budden for, you know, of course his birthday and just all the jewelry that motherfucker was dropping in them last couple episodes of the Joe Budden podcast. Like, man, that shit was legendary. You know, like they leaving out of they Spotify deal, really the exclusivity deal. You know, and the thing is, you know, with Joe Budden, a lot of motherfuckers was criticizing him basically for how he went about this shit. Like, oh man, you know, you left the bag, you know, you fucked the bag up, like. And what he was saying was, you know, a lot of what he's been doing on purpose. You know, and that's the thing when it comes to you having the purpose, because that's what I want to talk about on today's episode. Purpose. Doing shit on purpose. Knowing the purpose of everything that you're doing. Not just running around through life, but actually knowing what the fuck you doing when you're doing what you're doing. You know, like Joe Budden's point in a lot of this shit, you know, with a lot of the criticism that he's been getting is, you know, a lot of motherfuckers are saying, oh, you know, you fucked up the pack, you know, you could have got this, you could have got that. And he like, nigga, I wasn't doing this shit for money. You know, a lot of times, a lot of what we doing should be for more than money, because, you know, when you have a real purpose, the money gonna come. You know, when you reach what you really want to reach, the money gonna be there. You know, like, and with him, he said he was doing this shit for the information. You know, he's doing this shit for ownership. And when you own something, especially when you own something great, when you own a product that actually works, a product that you know is actually proven, the money gonna come. You know, so that's a lot of what I talk about on this show. And shit, what was that, my episode Yellow Brick Road? I talked about that shit. Like, it ain't always about the money all the time, because the money gonna be there. If you do anything very well, the money gonna be there, especially if you know what you're doing when you're doing what you're doing. And that's a big reason that I talk about purpose. Like with Joe Budden, his purpose was getting the information. You know, seeing how these motherfuckers is moving. You know, seeing how the actual business of a lot of these DSPs is working. You know, he was basically, you know, getting in the room, you know, sitting at the table, and listening to what these motherfuckers was saying. A lot of motherfuckers, you know, like I said, man, a lot of motherfuckers, when they don't see where you looking, you know, a lot of motherfuckers is short-sighted. You know, a lot of us have big dreams, big goals. A lot of us have, you know, plans to break generational curses and, you know, be the first one in our family or the first one in our friend group to do something. You know, and a lot of times when it comes to that, motherfuckers around us who don't have the same vision we have will call us crazy. Man, you'll never be able to do that, man. You ain't never gonna be a fucking millionaire coming up out the projects. or you ain't never gonna be able to reach that goal. You ain't never gonna be the best this or the top this or the first this. You know, a lot of motherfuckers is short-sighted when it comes to their goals, and you gotta stay away from motherfuckers like that. You know, like the thing with Joe, like with, you know, with him going back and forth with Charlemagne. You know, and a lot of us in the podcast and in the, you know, journalism, the media community have a lot of respect for Charlemagne, because Charlemagne, you know, he a motherfucking trailblazer. You know, he reinvented himself and became a fucking big brand. He's a powerful voice, you know, in black media. But at the same time, like, you know, his beef with Joe is looking at this shit like, nigga, I'm trying to own some shit. Nigga, yeah, you could be the top one, but if you up under somebody, nigga, you ain't on top. You know, Joe is looking at it like, nigga, I want to own my product. Yeah, it's cool being the best, but it ain't that cool being the best when you the best and another motherfucker making 10 times more off of what you create. You know, that was Joe's whole little point. Like, nigga, you the top this, my nigga. You as Charlemagne the God, you literally built a network. But you built the network for another motherfucker. You built a whole radio station, Power 105. You built a whole network, iHeart. And how much did you really make from what you built? You know, like I talked about this shit in the integrity episode when I said I'd rather be Nipsey Hussle than Drake. You know, rest in peace to the guy Nipsey Hussle. You know, and I was basically saying, like, nigga, I would rather own everything that I create and make a couple million than be up under a motherfucker and make more than that. Because when it comes to me actually being an owner of some shit, when I pass away, the thing that I own, I could pass down to my kids. But when you don't own it, when you just making a lot of more money for another motherfucker, when you go, that job go, that position go, that stream of revenue go. You know, and shout out to Drake. Drake might be, you know, working some shit in the background to where, you know, he'll have some shit that when he pass away, his lineage will be straight, more than just money. Because the thing is, money run out. But when you have a business, when you have intellectual property, when you have residuals, royalties, money coming in on the back end, that mailbox money, that shit don't go away. That's why, like, a lot of these old money families, like the Johnson family from Johnson & Johnson, the Waltons from the Walmart, you know, like that type of money, that's that shit that keep on coming in. Like, nigga, every time somebody's spending money at Walmart, the Waltons is getting paid. You know, and that's the thing about ownership. When you own some shit, when you own your intellectual property, like with, you know, say music catalogs, you know, like you'll hear about rappers talking about buying their catalogs back. Like when you actually own your masters, when you own your little shit like that, nigga, whenever somebody sample your song, you know, if you dead, your kids get paid. You know, your estate is still taken care of off of your intellectual property. But when another motherfucker own your intellectual property, all the shit that you made, nigga, you might get some little crumbs off that shit, but you ain't gonna get the bulk of the money. The record label gonna get paid every time they sample your shit. You know, whoever owns your shit, that's who gonna get the bulk of your money. You know, so what Joe is talking about is, nigga, we not even having the same fucking fight, my nigga. You fighting for money. Nigga, I'm fighting for ownership, my nigga. I'm fighting for power, my nigga. I'm fighting for my intellectual property. You know, and that's the thing. A lot of motherfuckers, they can't see that far. You know, they only see the money. They only see, oh, okay, well, I can make this amount. And that's cool. You know, like I said, nigga, there ain't nothing wrong with money, my nigga. But, nigga, having ownership of something that makes money, you know, that's the real win. Like, fuck the bullshit, my nigga. Like, everybody got money. You know, Joe Rogan got hundreds of millions and all that old good shit. But, you know, it's like, do you own something? Like, you know, I forgot which song it was that Nipsey was saying that shit at the end of the song. Like, nigga, you know, do you have power? Can you make shit move? Nigga, what do you own? What do you control, my nigga? Like, do you have control over your intellectual property, my nigga? Can you go where you want to go? You know, can you leave if you want to leave? Can you stop if you want to stop? You know, like I had conversations with my homeboys and shit back in the day about this shit. like about, you know, modern day slavery, wage slavery, you know, the form of slavery where you work just to be able to eat. You know, like a lot of us right now, if you were employed, you practically a slave. You know, because like I was telling the homie, my nigga, if you can't just take off, you a slave. If you can't just say, all right, I'm about this motherfucker, I'm gonna take a week or two off, then you a slave, my nigga. You know, and Joe Budden is like, I'm not trying to be that, you know, because a lot of people was joking on him about his whole little vacation situation, you know, because he had a whole little part of his rant where he was like, man, we ain't even get vacations and shit. Like, you know, they wouldn't even let us off. And they was like, oh man, you're supposed to negotiate that shit in the contract. You know, like he said, my nigga, I was doing research, nigga. I was just seeing how they was gonna get down with the show that's the #1 on their fucking network, my nigga. And they showed me all I needed to see. You know, like he kept on saying, it worked. What we did worked. You know, everybody is laughing at him right now, but shit, man, motherfuckers laughed at Nikola Tesla. Motherfuckers laughed at Albert Einstein. Motherfuckers laugh at a lot of people who trailblaze, a lot of people who have a vision beyond what they can see. You know, a lot of motherfuckers probably laughed at the Wright brothers when they was trying to invent the airplane and shit. You know, like motherfuckers always gonna think you crazy when what you got going on is beyond their realm of understanding. And it ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, like it ain't nothing wrong with a motherfucker thinking that you can't do something. It always feels that much better when you actually accomplish that shit when motherfuckers thought you couldn't do it. When motherfuckers laughed at you for your big vision, you know, for your big dreams. And it is what it is. Because, you know, when you watch the episode or when you listen to the fucking podcast, he didn't sound salty. You know, if any of us know about Joe Budden, we know he a screamer. You know, he's an emotional dude. He high strung. So yeah, he was probably doing some, you know, some hooping and hollering and some sweating, but you know, you could tell he was just passionate about what he was talking about. But the nigga was, you know, giving that ice jewelry, my nigga, and I was just sitting there tripping like, you know, this nigga is dropping Bible verses right now. This shit is dope to biblical fucking proportions. You know, so I just feel like if you black and doing podcasts or any form of media, honestly, shit, even if you fucking rapping, nigga, whatever you doing that you are a creator, you should really tune in to the last couple episodes of the Joe Budden podcast, cause that nigga was bringing that motherfucking heat. You know, and a big part of like what I'm gonna break it off into is like basically, and you hear this term, this phrase in a lot of like motivational speakers and shit. Know your why. You know, always know why you're doing something. You know, why you want to be a fucking entrepreneur, why you want to get married, you know, why you want to shit do any motherfucking thing. Like, you know, you should always know why you're going into something. You know, it's just like being an entrepreneur, for example. You know, everybody says they want to be an entrepreneur because it sounds so sexy. Like you hear it on Instagram and you hear people talk about that shit just in general, like motherfuckers with money. People put that shit in their fucking bio on Instagram that they're an entrepreneur. But the thing about it is being an entrepreneur not for everybody. You know, like I got coworkers and home like, man, I just can't work for nobody. I hate working for people. And that's cool if that's honestly how you feel. If that's honestly your motivation for doing that shit, you want to own something, you want to not have to work for nobody, you want to make your own hours and all that shit. But the thing about things like that, like as far as knowing your why and understanding your purpose, nigga, you got to realize that when it comes to that, your purpose has to be bigger than what you don't like about what you finna go into. Because the thing about it is like, everybody want to be an entrepreneur, but a lot of motherfuckers don't understand that when you become an entrepreneur, your security blanket goes away. You know, it's like walking a fucking tightrope without that little bouncy shit at the bottom. My nigga, like, if you fall, you fall. You know, like the safety net is the job. When you got a job, you know how much you gonna make. You know what your benefits is. You know what hours you come in. You know what hours you get off. You got weekends off and all that little cute shit, nigga. When you work a job, you know what you finna be doing. Okay, I'm gonna come in. This is gonna be what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna fucking flip 200 hamburgers. I'm gonna dip all these French fries, and that's gonna be my work day. I'm gonna get off at 3, and then Friday and Saturday, I don't gotta come to work. Like you know, everything is set. Everything is, the table's set for you. But when you an entrepreneur, my nigga, you don't know what the fuck finna happen. Nigga, you don't know if you gonna make no money today. Nigga, you don't know a lot of times. And when it comes to being an entrepreneur, my nigga, when you got a regular job, the average motherfuckers work like 8-hour days. But my nigga, when you an entrepreneur, a lot of times, nigga, you work from when you wake up to when you fall asleep. Like I always mention the brand that I have, 7 Saturdays Clothing, my nigga. The reason I named it 7 Saturdays is because that's the goal. That's my purpose. What I'm doing it for is because I want for one day my schedule to every day be Saturday. Whenever I want it to be Saturday, it's Saturday. If I don't want to work today, I don't want to work today. I'm going to sit on my ass today. I'm going to play video games today. I'm going to eat ice cream all day today. Like, that's the goal. That's the plan. That's the mission. But when you an entrepreneur, a lot of times, my nigga, until it becomes 7 Saturdays, nigga, it's 7 Mondays. When you an entrepreneur, my nigga, every fucking day is a work day. Nigga, every motherfucking hour of the day that you are awake, it's work time. It's get money time. You can't be bullshitting. But when you got a job, nigga, you can fuck off. Having a job, nigga, it's like shit. Nigga, you got days when you don't want to work that hard. You got days when you can call in sick. You can say, you know what, fuck this. I ain't coming in. I ain't gonna do this shit. You know what? I'm a halfway work. Like you got that freedom when you got a job. Like you can literally just say, you know what, fuck this shit. And entrepreneurship is the ultimate freedom because you can do that too. But a lot of times, my nigga, like if you don't work, you don't eat. And that's a reality that a lot of motherfuckers ain't ready for when it comes to entrepreneurship. So if you want to go into entrepreneurship, my nigga, like you better have a strong sense of purpose. You better know why you doing it. You better know, like I said in my last episode, name your price. Nigga, you got to know how important is it for me to keep going? And at what point will I stop if I have to? At what point should I say, you know what, this shit ain't it. Let me go get a job. But you got to have that strong sense of purpose that that, nigga, my purpose is here. Because if you don't have a sense of purpose when it comes to going into that shit, you going to quit fast. Or you ain't never going to really go into it as hard as you should because, subconsciously, that the reason that you going into it ain't all that. Like you say you want to be rich, but you don't really want to be rich. I did the episode Wants versus Wishes. I always tell y'all motherfuckers to reference back to these episodes so I don't gotta go super deep into a lot of these concepts because a lot of this shit I've talked about before. A lot of these episodes that I keep going, I'm just expounding on certain shit. Some shit I'm referencing back to and all of that. But yeah, like, a lot of times when it comes to your purpose, you not really in love with what you going into like that, and that's why you won't go 100% hard at it because in your mind, in the back of your head, like, I'm not really in love with this shit like that. Like, as much as I want to be a millionaire, I do want to be comfortable. I do want to have Fridays and Saturdays off. I do want to be able to go and drink with my friends. But when you want to become a millionaire, a lot of times, nigga, you're gonna have to turn a lot of that shit down. A lot of them club nights, a lot of them drunk nights, nigga, you gonna have to turn a lot of that shit down. It's gonna be a lot of days when your homeboys is out having fun and you can't because you got a meeting to do or you got something to design or you got somebody you got to go meet or you got to go, you got to meet a deadline on some shit. So when it comes to you being an entrepreneur, my nigga, it ain't what you think it's gonna be a lot of times, my nigga. It ain't what Instagram tells you it is, which is flying on private jets, going to fucking Santorini, Greece, and fucking, drinking mimosas with celebrities. Like, that's not being an entrepreneur, my nigga. Being an entrepreneur is working 24 motherfucking 7 for 5 or 6 years until your shit crack off. So just know your purpose when you going into that shit. Like, with getting married. Know why you are getting married, my nigga. You know, marriage is a motherfucking business agreement, my nigga. Like marriage is not it ain't white picket fence, you know, house on the hill and everything always working, my nigga. Like, you know, a marriage is even more than love. You know, love ain't gonna keep no marriage going, my nigga. You know, love will help, but you know, not if y'all homeless. Y'all can love each other all the fuck you want to. But if you finna lose your house because your mate don't want to keep up they fucking side of the mortgage, my nigga, you know, or you chose a mate who fucks up y'all money or any of that type of shit, my nigga, like, you know, it ain't gonna work. Marriage a lot of times is you gotta love a motherfucker enough to deal with they bullshit. You know, marriage is finding a motherfucker who you feel comfortable with making decisions. A motherfucker who you feel comfortable compromising with. Like, you know, marriage is it's more than just love. It's more than just sex. You know, like if you talk to any married motherfuckers, like nigga, they not all hugging and kissing all motherfucking day and looking into each other's eyes and going on vacations and trips and all that fun, cute shit. Like nigga, marriage is work, nigga. You know, like that's why you got to get a license to do the motherfucking shit. You know, because it ain't easy, my nigga. Like it's a hard motherfucking thing. You know, I've been married going on 12 years, my nigga. Like this shit ain't easy. It might look easy. You know, married couples always make it look easy. You know, because all you see is the highlights, my nigga. Don't nobody post practice on ESPN, my nigga. You don't see, you know, Monday through Thursday, my nigga. You always see Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night when motherfuckers out dressed up, looking nice, and you know, doing all the little two-stepping and having fun and shit. But you don't see the real part of being married, my nigga. Like, this shit ain't always easy, dog. You know, so when you get married, you should know why am I marrying this person? Why am I going into this, my nigga? Like, when it comes to anything, you should always be asking yourself, why? You should always be purposeful in anything you do, any action that you do, my nigga. You should always be purposeful. You know, I tell motherfuckers all the time, like, I just don't believe in doing shit just to be doing some shit. No matter what you see me doing, I always ask myself why I'm doing it before I do it, my nigga. You know, like, I always have to be doing everything I do on purpose. Everything I do on purpose. Like, you know, like they say, God don't make mistakes. You know what that mean? That mean God do everything on purpose, my nigga. Like, you have to be purposeful in all your actions, and superficial shit ain't really a good purpose. You know, just like with being an entrepreneur, a lot of times the reason a lot of motherfuckers don't work in entrepreneurship is because they purpose in it is superficial. It's always like, man, I want to be an entrepreneur because I want money. I want to be an entrepreneur because I want to go on vacations. Oh, I want to be an entrepreneur because, you know, I don't want to work every day. Nigga, I just want to chill. You know, like, nigga, it ain't always that. You know, a lot of companies, a lot of corporations have a mission statement. You know, your mission statement can't be, oh, because we want some money. Nigga, a lot of times a mission statement in a corporation is a need that they feel, a problem that they solve, a service that they provide. But if it's just I want some money, it ain't gonna fucking work, my nigga, because that's some superficial shit. You know, like even if it's something like, oh, I just want to do what I love for money. Like you do nails or you do hair, or you know, like a lot of times when it comes to entrepreneurship, a lot of the things that you'll keep doing is the shit you would have did for free any motherfucking way. You know, like it's something that you feel like is honestly your purpose. Like you've been doing hair since you was little, and now that you grown and you super good at that shit, and you know that motherfuckers is willing to pay you for that shit, now you taking it serious. So now you want to make some money doing that shit, or basketball, or fucking eyelashes, or you know making motherfuckers beautiful, or making music, or you know, just anything that you feel is your purpose. Anything that you feel so strongly about that even if your business failed and you had to go back to working a job, you would still do what you was doing on the side because you love it so much. Those are the motherfuckers who keep on going in entrepreneurship. Those are the motherfuckers who become millionaires. Those are the motherfuckers who keep it cracking. Because they love what they doing so much, they feel like that shit is their purpose so much that they keep on doing that shit whether it's making money or not. Because a lot of times when it comes to being an entrepreneur, a lot of the shit that you doing ain't gonna make money. You know, like I said in my last episode, a lot of times customers ain't gonna be able to pay the price that you set. So you got to be able to feel so strongly about what you doing that even when motherfuckers can't afford your product, even when motherfuckers ain't willing to pay for your product, you still willing to create that product because you believe in it that much, because you have a purpose. You know, like knowing why you doing something helps you with how you do something. You know, like me with my clothing line, like me, I felt so strongly about what I was doing that I always wanted the quality of what I did to be fucking excellent. Like, because I always look at anything that I'm doing out of the eyes of the consumer. Like when I do podcasts, I always listen to my shows 3 or 4 times. I got shows that I felt was fucking trash. I got shows that I felt was fucking excellent. Like, nigga, my leverage episode, every episode that I do, I compare it to that one. Because I feel like that was one of my best shows. Like, I was in rare form. And I think that shit was like episode fucking 4 or 2 or some shit like that. But I just was gassing on that motherfucker. You know, and the thing is, like I said about rappers and the quote unquote sophomore jinx. Like, a lot of times it ain't a sophomore jinx. It's that when you do something for the first time, you got your whole life to pull from when it comes to the content that you're creating. You know, so the possibilities are endless for the shit that you come up with, for the shit that you create. It's like, man, nigga, I could talk about this, I could talk about that. I could fucking do anything. And then you get that first fucking project and it's full of your life's work. Boom. Sell it. It's a classic. It's the greatest. It's the fucking best shit. But after you done that shit, now it's like, fuck, now my next album, I only got a year to prepare for this motherfucker. Now all that I have to talk about is what happened in this year. You know, a lot of motherfuckers, as far as like the people who have longevity, that first project, they saved a little bit. Like, oh, you know, this gonna be for my next album and shit like that. But a lot of motherfuckers, the reason they fall off is because that first one was everything and that second one was just from here to here, and it didn't really pop like it should have, could have, or would have. You know, so when it comes to your why when you doing something, my nigga, like, you gotta look at the amount of time that you want to be doing what you doing. Because everybody say they want to be doing something forever, but you not always moving like you want to do something forever. You know, so when it comes to you looking at something as far as longevity, when you know that longevity is the goal, then you know you're not gonna dump all your eggs out of your basket into some shit. Because you know, like, nigga, I'm gonna need something for album number 2 and album number 3. So I'm gonna give y'all all this on album number 1, but this is reserved for 2. This is reserved for 3. And this is with any product that you create, any service that you provide. You know, you always got to be looking at what your purpose is in anything that you're doing. And knowing why helps with how. Knowing why helps you, like, all right, for sure, I know this is why I'm doing this shit. So this is why I got to do it like this. But when you just doing random shit for random fucking reasons, you going about it in random fucking ways, my nigga. You know, like with me creating my clothes, like, nigga, I'm not just creating some shit so, oh, well, I'm gonna have these shirts made by AAA and I'm gonna have these shirts made by fucking whatever Gilding and I'm gonna have these shirts made by American Cotton. Like, no, my nigga, I know that I want this certain amount of quality every motherfucking time because I want people to know that when they see me, this is exactly what the fuck they gonna expect, my nigga. Like, I preach consistency, and I want consistency in anything that I do, any product that I create, any content that I create, just the way that I move around. And, you know, people who fuck with me know that they could depend on me because I'm about consistency, nigga. If I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. If I say I'm gonna be somewhere, I'm gonna be there. If I say my product is this is what the fuck my product is. You know, like I would hate to sell a motherfucker something that I wouldn't buy. You know, I would hate to do a show that I wouldn't want to fucking listen to. Like I just don't believe in that shit. Just like, you know, when I was talking about, you know, when you want to have an amazing partner, an amazing mate, an amazing girlfriend, boyfriend, or whatever the fuck you into, you yourself have to be amazing to attract an amazing person. Like, you can't be a bum looking for a Beyonce. That shit just don't work. And us from the outside looking in, a lot of times, you know, we see women with some bullshit ass niggas. But that shit don't always work, my nigga. You don't see motherfuckers like, man, they been married 20 years and that nigga ain't shit and she fly. You don't see it. Yeah, women choose fucked up niggas all the time. But it don't never last, not too long. Even the women who's stupid enough to stay with a bum ass nigga for a quote unquote long time. It's just long to us. A year or two. Or she have a baby by the nigga. So now they stuck together. But even with that, my nigga, that shit ain't real longevity, my nigga. And a lot of times, you know, like I tell motherfuckers, my biggest advice when it comes to people with fucked up baby mamas and baby daddies, never lay down with a motherfucker who you ain't willing to co-parent with. If they don't seem like they'll be a good mother or a good father, you shouldn't even be fucking them. Because you know that that's the risk that you taking when you fuck a person. Even with a condom, even when you pull out, even when you on the pill and all that old shit. Like, you shouldn't even be fucking a motherfucker who you don't feel like is somebody who you willing to take that risk with, my nigga. You know, it's just like robbing a fucking bank. Nigga, if you ain't willing to take the consequences of robbing that fucking bank, don't go in. You know, and this is the thing when it comes to purpose. You doing shit on purpose, my nigga. You know, accidents happen. But for the most part, nigga, everything that you doing, you should be doing on purpose. A lot of times shit happens on accident because you didn't know the purpose of the action that you was doing when you did what you did for the accident to happen. Let y'all marinate on that shit. But like, nigga, on some real shit, like, you know, a big part of knowing your purpose and knowing your why, knowing why you doing something, you know, it'll let you know when to walk away. Like with the whole relationship shit. You know, like one of my things as a young nigga, like when I was in my early 20s and late teens, when it came to talking to women and shit, I always knew my purpose. Like I would tell women from day one, like, nigga, look, I'm just having fun. Nigga, we just cool. We not boyfriend and girlfriend. You not my girl. I don't want to marry you. I don't want kids. I'm just trying to have fun with you. You know, we gonna go on some dates. We gonna go out. We gonna have sex. We gonna have fun. And that's it. Don't think that I'm your boyfriend. Don't think I'm gonna carry your fucking books and your backpack and buy you shit, because this ain't that. This is me and you having some fun. I got 3 or 4 other bitches I'm talking to. If you down with that, cool. If you not, that's cool too. I'll find somebody that's down with it. But I always knew my purpose when it came to my dating life. That's the reason I've always been successful. You know, I've had interactions that ended earlier than I felt like they should have, and I had interactions that lasted longer than I felt like they should have. But I always knew my purpose in everything that I was doing. So even when it went, you know, less than stellar, I understood. I understood what the consequences was. I understood what the rewards was. I understood, you know, what the risk involved was. You know, so I always went into every interaction naming my price. You know, I was always very clear with what I wanted. I was always very clear with what I had to offer. I was always very clear with what I would accept, what I wouldn't accept, and all of that shit. Because I understood the purpose of what the fuck I was doing. I'm just with you because I want to fuck you. I'm just with you because you got a fat ass. I'm just with you because you got some money and I want some. I want you to buy me some shit. Like, nigga, I was always 100 with everything. And I was always purposeful. You know, just like with my words. How I speak, what I say, who I say it to, who I don't speak around, who I don't say shit to, who I talk to, who I don't talk to. I'm always purposeful. I always tell motherfuckers, if I like you, you know I like you. If I don't like you, you know I don't like you. You know, certain motherfuckers I might be rude to. Other motherfuckers I'm nice to. I'm nice to some motherfuckers that I don't like. It's some motherfuckers I'm like, man, fuck this nigga, but I still speak to him because I have a purpose. You know, like I have uses for people. You know, and people talk about, you know, like using motherfuckers as a bad thing. And it can be if you misuse a motherfucker. That's the thing. Using a person ain't bad. Abusing a motherfucker is bad. Like, abuse is bad. Use ain't bad, because the thing is, if you not useful, you're useless. You know, so when the motherfuckers say, oh, he used me, everybody uses you. Your mama used you, your daddy used you, your girlfriend used you, your boyfriend used you. Everybody use everybody. The thing is, you don't want to be abused. You know, abuse, you know, is more than physical. Abuse could be mental. Abuse could be any motherfucking thing. You know, like taking all the motherfuckers' money. Like, that's abuse. That's abusing something. That's abusing a motherfucker's kindness. That's abuse. But use, nigga, I use motherfuckers for a good time. I use motherfuckers for a good conversation. I use motherfuckers for sex. They using me for sex. And everybody's happy. Like, nigga, use ain't bad. Being used ain't bad. It's being abused. Being sexually abused. You know, I feel like this is a form of sexual abuse. It's not illegal, but it's a form of sexual abuse. The hit it and quit it, fuck a bitch, jet out and don't say nothing to her. That's fucked up, my nigga. You could have kept it 100 with her and been like, you know what, that shit wasn't all that good, and did it fucking moving. Like, but it is sexual abuse. And, you know, short break. Nigga, this is cranberry juice, Lil Mike. Fuck you, nigga, eat a dick. But anyway, like, nigga, everybody uses everybody. It ain't nothing wrong with using motherfuckers. It's wrong to abuse motherfuckers. But when you using people, be purposeful. Know why you're using them. When you are being used, understand why you're being used. You know, it's like, you know, the legendary Bill Withers. May he rest in peace. You know, he had a song called Use Me. You know, I want to spread the news that if it feels it's good getting used, oh, you just keep on using me until you use me up. You know, and the song was basically saying he was fucking with a little young bitch, you know, and he was having fun fucking her, and she was probably, you know, getting his money on some sugar daddy shit. And everybody was trying to tell him, like, man, she using you, she using you. And he like, I don't give a fuck. Like, nigga, and he was happy to be used by this woman because he was using her. You know, if you listen to the words of the song, like, bitch, use me, do your thing. Cause I sure am using you to do the things you do. Like, my nigga, like, it ain't always wrong being used. You know, if you ain't useful, you're useless. But just be purposeful in these interactions where, you know, you're using people and people are using you, because that's always the dynamic in any motherfucking relationship, whether that be romantic relationship, especially business relationships. You know, business relationships should let you really understand how use happens. You know, you use me for a service, I use you for money. It's a fair fucking exchange. It ain't no robbery, my nigga. Like, this is how anything works, my nigga. Just like with employment. Like, I talked about this shit, I think, in the leverage episode as well, my nigga. Like, nigga, when it comes to you as an employee, you should know why you want to work at this job. Like, you know, they always ask you that shit, like, oh, why do you want to work here? And in your head, you like, bitch, because I want some money. But a lot of times, me, you know, it's always like, shit, you know, I want some money. I want to be here for at least 5 or 6 years, because I heard y'all niggas got good benefits. Y'all niggas offer vacation. You know, I heard it's a good work environment. I'm not going to want to slap nobody in their motherfucking face. You know, my cousin work here. He loved the job. Like, this should be your purpose. If it's just some money, you might end up hating that job. You might end up liking that job, but on some real shit, my nigga. Like, this should be the shit that you looking at when you're doing shit on purpose. Like, you should always be looking at why do I want to work here? You know, whenever you go fill out an application, you should ask yourself, why the fuck do I want to work here? Because like my job, personally, my nigga, money. You know, I'm dealing with a lot of shit I don't want to deal with, my nigga. After this show, I gotta fold all this bullshit up and take my ass to work. I gotta go to Phoenix in a minute. You know, but the purpose is, you know, the lifestyle that I'm gonna get to live. Because, you know, yeah, money. But at the same time, my nigga, the amount of money that I get made paid for me to be able to have this camera, this motherfucking laptop, this mixer, you know, all this shit going on around me, this room that I'm in, this TV and picture behind me, all this shit is paid for by the job that I got, you know, by the lifestyle that the amount of money that I have provides for me. You know, like this is my fucking purpose. Like my nigga, like when it comes to money, you know, like they talk about your money being like an employee. Like if your money ain't working for you, your money is like an employee that ain't on a job. You know, and I look at even how I spend my money. Like my cousin Lil Mike, like he know my nigga, like I always spend my money purposefully. Like I don't like to just fuck money off and throw money away and shit. Like, you know, a lot of motherfuckers who are cheap are really purposeful with their money. Like I know what this money is for, so I'm not gonna fuck it off on no dumb shit. You know, like I always talk about tricks a lot. You know, and honestly, like I judge them because that ain't my thing. But at the same time, my nigga, if that pussy is worth that money, then go ahead and do your shit, my nigga. Like honestly, you know, have fun, pay for that pussy, my nigga. That's your thing. You know, Bill Withers said the same shit, my nigga. She using you for money, you using her for pussy. Fair exchange ain't no motherfucking robbery. You know, my biggest niggas who I really a shit on as far as tricking is the niggas that just give bitches money for nothing. The bitch ain't give you nothing. She ain't even show you a titty or nothing. And you just gave her some money. You a fucking fool. Like, nigga, and I feel like that with a lot of shit. You know, like I went big on my brother in fucking Vegas some years back because we was on the elevator and this woman was on the elevator with us. It was just me, him, and her. And the nigga was like, oh my God, you are fine. You are so gorgeous. Oh, damn, you fine. And she walked off the fucking elevator. I'm like, so you ain't try to get the bitch number or nothing? He like, man, she was fine though, wasn't she? I'm like, yeah, my nigga, but you gave this bitch all these compliments. Now she finna be walking through this whole motherfucking casino head this motherfucking big because you gave her all them compliments and you ain't getting nothing in return. You know, like that's part of what, you know, last episode, you know, you setting the fucking precedent. You setting a negative precedent. When you give away something that has value and you get nothing in return, that sets a very negative precedent with you and with others. You know, if I feel it's like this. If me and you was in an interaction and you don't do shit, but I just gave you $500, you're gonna want to interact with me for that $500. But you're not gonna want to interact with me for anything outside of that. You're not gonna want to provide anything for that $500 because you know that just seeing me is gonna equal to $500 for you. You know, anything that I do is you gonna want $500 from me. Like you ain't gonna be like, oh well, you know, since this motherfucker gave me $500, I'm gonna do this. No, a lot of times if I know that $500 coming no matter what I do, I'm not gonna want to do nothing extra. I'm just gonna want to do what the fuck happened. You know, just like with us in that fucking elevator with him giving her that compliment. He didn't give her that compliment in exchange for her number or in exchange for some type of relationship benefits. He just gave her that compliment just for the fuck of it. And now she walked away with your compliment. Thanks, dumbass nigga. And kept it fucking pushing. That's sucker shit. Whenever you give away something for nothing, that's sucker shit. You know, I can see if it's like a charity, like you giving some money to a homeless person that need it. You know, that's different. But when you give a compliment to a motherfucker for nothing, that's sucker shit to me. You know, I understand if you just doing some shit out of the goodness of your heart, like, hey man, you looking good, my nigga. Oh, I see that Harley. Yeah, that motherfucker look nice. Or, oh, them shoes is dope. Yeah, that shit cool. But when you trying to fuck with women, like early, you know, young niggas, when it come to dealing with women, my nigga, y'all niggas need to be very purposeful with your motherfucking compliments. Y'all niggas need to be very purposeful with everything that you do when it come to your interactions with women. Women as well. You need to be very motherfucking purposeful when it comes to your interactions with men. Everything that you do, you need to have a fucking purpose with that shit. Whenever you compliment a man, it should be with a purpose. If you feeling that dude and you want that nigga to interact with you, you need to purpose that compliment to something that's going to spark an interaction. Not just, oh, you got nice lips and let the nigga walk away. Fuck that shit. You better be like, hey, excuse me with the nice lips. Can I talk to you real quick? Like, nigga, you could wrap a compliment into the start of an interaction. But you just throwing out compliments, nigga, I look at my compliments as a motherfucking currency. I'm not just throwing these motherfuckers out there for nothing. Everything I do got a motherfucking purpose. And everything that you do, you should have a motherfucking purpose. You know, like, knowing the purpose of what you're doing to stop you from walking away from some shit. Like, if you know that you throwing that compliment because you want to talk to that motherfucker, you gonna throw that compliment a lot different. Like he my older brother. I called a nigga my little brother because he act younger than me. But my big brother, that motherfucker was up in that elevator, just threw the compliment out there just for the fuck of it. And like I told him, nigga, you a fucking clown for that shit. You fucking blew it. If you really wanted to talk to her, you should have talked to her ass once we got on the elevator. But you wait for her to leave and you throw a compliment at her on her way out. You a fucking joke for that shit. The fuck is wrong with you, my nigga? Like, that shit is goofy shit. You should never do shit without purpose. You know, when you do shit with purpose, it'll stop you from walking away from certain shit. You know, it's like what I talked about with entrepreneurship. You know, when you have a purpose, when you got a real life purpose, when you really know why you're doing it, that should have stopped you from walking away from it. Like, it's like this. Let's just say, right, I got $1 million and it's somewhere 3 miles away from you, right? You know it's $1 million fucking dollars. I done showed it to you. You got a picture of it. It got your name on the envelope. It's $1 million fucking dollars. But you gotta walk 3 miles, right? And in the 3 mile walk, while you're walking, it's motherfuckers who trying to beat you up. It's dogs chasing you. It's hot. One of your shoes fell off and you can't go get it back. But you know it's $1 million fucking dollars 3 miles away. Knowing that there's $1 million 3 miles away will keep you on that motherfucking journey. Like, yeah, these niggas tripping, but it's $1 million. Yeah, I lost my shoe, but it's $1 million. Yeah, it's hot, but it's $1 million. Yeah, I'm hungry, but it's $1 million. But if I told you to make that same fucking journey and it just cause, you might not want to keep on going. You know, and that's the thing when it comes to entrepreneurship. If you believe in your motherfucking heart that at the end of what you doing, you're gonna be successful, that shit is gonna keep you on that journey. If you feel like you know you're gonna be a millionaire at the end of all this bullshit you going through, you gonna keep on going. But if you got doubt in your heart and you like, man, this shit might not even work, that's the shit that'll make you quit. That's the shit that'll make you waver. That's the shit that'll make you slow down on what you're doing. That's when you're gonna be like, you know what, man, this shit ain't even worth it, man. Fuck this shit. I'm just gonna go back to work, dog. Like, this shit ain't it for me. I'm cool as fuck, man. Fuck it. I'm straight. I'm just gonna go back to fucking working at, I don't know, Family Dollar or whatever the fuck I was doing. But if you know in your heart, if you really believe that, oh, nigga, it's $1 million at the end of this bitch. It's for sure. This shit is a go. Every stupid thing that happened, my nigga, even failure, even people saying no, even some shit that you thought that was gonna work, not working, ain't gonna stop you. Even motherfuckers telling you, nah, it ain't gonna work. Even motherfuckers who you believe in telling you it ain't gonna work. Because that's the thing, like, you know, a lot of times we have people in our life whose opinion we value very highly. Whether that be a parent, a grandparent, an uncle, you know, somebody who we just know who's doing very well. Even sometimes motherfuckers like that will tell you that some shit ain't gonna work. Even some people who you really respect their opinion could tell you, I don't think this is it for you, dog. Maybe you should quit. You know, like, even their opinion sometimes, like, you gotta tell them to shut the fuck up. Like, nigga, I don't give a fuck what none of you niggas say. This shit gonna motherfucking work. You know, and that's how you gotta move around through life, my nigga. When you got purpose, nobody gonna be able to stop you from doing that shit. Just like I said, if it's $1 million 3 miles away, nigga, no matter what the fuck you encounter on that journey, outside of death, a motherfucking gorilla and a bear at the end of that bitch finna beat you to death, man, you gonna keep the fuck going, my nigga. You know, and that's purpose. When you know what your purpose is, ain't nothing gonna stop you from reaching that motherfucking purpose, my nigga. Like, that shit will drive your motherfucking steps, my nigga. That shit'll make you do some shit you didn't believe you can do when you got real purpose, nigga. When you really feel like what the fuck you doing is more important than what the fuck you going through, that shit gonna make you, nigga, jump over motherfucking buildings, nigga, run through walls. Like, nigga, you unfucking stoppable when you have purpose, when you understand your purpose, when you know why you're doing something. And that goes with anything, whether from the biggest shit of you trying to become a motherfucking multi-millionaire to some little shit like you just trying to talk to a motherfucking woman. When you know why you doing something, when you have purpose in all your actions, my nigga, you unstoppable, my nigga. It ain't no woman you can't have. It ain't no man you can't have. It ain't no dream you can't make come true when you doing shit on purpose, when you know your purpose, when you understand why you're doing something, when every move that you make is a calculated motherfucking move that you can say why you're doing it. Why am I saying this? Why am I saying it to this person? Why am I going here? Why am I leaving here? Why am I not talking to this person? Everything that you do, everything that you don't do, every move you make should have a fucking purpose. Everything. And a lot of those little purposes go into those big purposes. You know, because we all have one big purpose. And we should all understand that. That'll guide all of our small purposes. You know, that's what will make us make the small moves that will get us to the big final goal, whatever that is. We all define that for ourselves. You know, I can't tell y'all that. That's not one of the things that I can help y'all with, because your purpose is your purpose. Mine is mine. You know, like, some motherfuckers do actually want to be a multi-millionaire. Some motherfuckers want to be a billionaire. Some motherfuckers just want to be happy. Some motherfuckers just want to have a family. Some motherfuckers just want to get out of jail. Some motherfuckers want to stop being sick. Some motherfuckers want to lose some weight. Everybody got a different purpose. You know, but when it comes to all the moves that you make in life, all the people you talk to and all that shit, you know, you just got to realize what your purpose is and go to meet that purpose. You know, try to reach that motherfucking goal. And everything that you do in life should be pertaining to what that main goal is. You know, like, just your regular everyday life. Like, damn, nigga, is drinking this beer gonna get me this million that I want? You know, or is going to this club gonna get me the husband that I'm looking for? Or is eating this donut gonna help me reach my target weight? Like, everything that you do, my nigga, you should keep your goal in mind. So what you do with purpose. You know, and that's how we reach our goals in life. You know, that's how everything that we want in life to work works. Everything works on purpose. You know, like I said, God don't make mistakes because he does everything on purpose. You know, and everything you should be doing should be with a purpose. You know, stay around purpose-driven people. You know, don't hang with niggas who just doing shit because they doing shit. You shouldn't be, you know, a lot of times the reason you hanging with them niggas is because you don't know. Everybody you hang with should be on purpose. All my friendships are on purpose. You know, everybody who I use on purpose. All of my friendships have a purpose. I got my homeboys who I build with. I got my homeboys who I fuck shit up with. You know, family members as well. Everybody who I speak to, there's a purpose. Everybody who I don't speak to, there's a purpose. Everything that I say to motherfuckers has a purpose. Because I know what my purpose is. I know what my why is. I have a goal to reach. And I'm going to reach that motherfucker on purpose. Because I'm purposeful with my moves. Everything is calculated. My nigga, everything has a reason. It's like it's like playing chess. When you play chess, you got to know why all your pieces are going where they going, or you going to lose every motherfucking time. You can't win in chess just bouncing pieces all over the motherfucking board, because that's not how chess works. That's the reason that you call that shit? The little expression is it's chess, not checkers. Because in chess, every move has to have a purpose. Everything has to be calculated. Everything has to have a reason. You know, so whenever you making your moves through life, my nigga, be a fucking chess player, my nigga. Everything you do should have a purpose. Everything you do should be calculated. Everything you do, you should know why you doing it. And that'll make everything you do in life more effective. That will make you more effective as a person. That will make you more effective as a husband, as a wife, as a brother, as a sister, as an employee, as an employer, as an entrepreneur, as a motherfucking boss. That's how you become a boss, because you do everything on purpose. You know, that's how you be the God that we all call ourselves. You know, I'm a king, I'm a queen. Kings and queens do everything on motherfucking purpose. So no matter what you do in life, man, do that shit on motherfucking purpose. And I'm gonna drop the mic on that shit. This has been your host, Yung Dolemite, of the Too Much Game podcast, live from the Boom Boom Room. Once again, if you would like to support us financially, it is patreon.com/townhouse media. Town, E, House Media. Support all the Townhouse Media podcasts. Seriously, none of the podcasts. Friday nights, 9 p.m. coming back very motherfucking soon. Very soon. Y'all be on the lookout for Seriously None Other podcasts. I'm going to be on there when that motherfucker come back. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but I'm going to be on that motherfucker. So be on the lookout. Tuesdays, Talk Flirty Tuesday, the Talk Flirty podcast with just Nikki. Motherfucking Sports for You podcast, 6 p.m. on Tuesdays. Shout out to them, Mark John Watson and Nick motherfucking Freeze. Wednesdays, No Rules podcast, 5 p.m. live. You know, Hump Days Never Be the Same. Ill Will and Mark doing they shit. Sundays, Cat vs. Dog podcast with myself, Yung Dolemite, and CJ, Chelsea Perry, the celebrity of Townhouse Media, you know, live at 3 p.m. Pacific, live at 5 Houston time. And of course, if you hear, you already know, the Too Much Game podcast. Thursdays, whenever the fuck I get to it. It's morning right now. Sometimes I do it in the evening. Sometimes I do it late at night. I just be doing these motherfuckers at random times because my schedule fucked up. But, you know, follow me on social media. At Too Much Game Podcast on Instagram, at Too Much Game Pod, the number 1 on Twitter. My personal Twitter is at Yung Dolemite, YUNGDOLEMITE. Like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Leave a rating, review, 5-star, whatever the fuck you do on Apple Podcasts. And I think that's it, dog. So, you know, I ain't here to help you get bitches. I'm here to help you get better. Too much game.